back, and in this video I wanted to give you some information on how detailed should your story map be. So some of us must be thinking that it should be kind of abstract or it should be kind of detailed, but if you're having a confusion in that, then this is the video for you. So let's get into it. So I've taken a video on what a story map is and how you can plan using story maps. So if you have no idea of what a story map is, then you can click on the link that I've provided in the description box. But without any delay, let's get into it, and let me give you a very brief information on why build a story map. So a story map is a visualization, okay, of your entire product backlog. Okay, so in a short glimpse, I would say that when you look at a story map, you would be getting a bird's eye view of the entire product visually. Okay, so another advantage is to bring everyone on the same page, because people might have different ideas about your product. People may not be knowing what exactly needs to be done in order to complete this product. So when you create this story map and it's visually appealing and it's visually understandable by everyone is on the same page. They know what needs to be done in order to get this product to the customers. And the third one is to set up expectations. So this story map is going to help you set up expectations with stakeholders and also with customers and your clients, and I'll show you how. But keep in mind, it's very important to set up expectations for your product, because as we all know, there would be certain amount of expectations from the client, and there would be some time frame, and there would be some element of budget that comes into the picture. But if you're not going to set up expectations to clients and customers, then you're going to prove very wrong to them. And also, they also would lose their expectations from you, and that would create a little bit of mess and chaos. So it's always good to set up expectations. And in order to set up that expectation, you should be able to plan well, because you should be able to tell them what they can expect at a particular time frame and with a particular budget. So to do this planning is where story maps come into picture. So if you take an example of an online e-commerce website, okay, I have not built the entire story map over here, but it's just a glimpse of it because I cannot consolidate everything into one view. Okay, so if you see over here, there are different goals and modules which exist, which can be the product and the payment and delivery. Also, I'm not going to take too much of information and details into how to build the story map. I've covered it in the video that I've shared in the description box, and you can take a look at it. So when you look at the stories that are mentioned in this story map, okay, you would see that for login you can log in using Gmail, you can log in using Facebook. Similarly, to browse, we have mentioned search, filter, and then recommend products. And then you can go through these other, stories over here. Make payment, we have mentioned cash on delivery as well as card, and manage address, set address. So when you look at this, just take a moment to see whether this is really good enough to do planning in terms of the time and in terms of the effort and in terms of complexity. Keeping all this in mind, is it really good enough to do planning? Some might feel yes and some might feel no, but the answer is, according to me, is no, because I am not being specific and I don't know the details enough in order to be able to estimate and in order to come up with a concrete plan. For example, when I take filter, I've just mentioned filter over here, but what does filter mean? What am I going to allow customers to filter on? Is it going to be filter based on some category, filter based on maybe gender, filter based on price, on color? What is it? It's not specified over here, and it varies. Every filter has some amount of time and effort. So what am I going to commit to the customer? If I'm going to tell them filter, they might have some filter in their mind, but ultimately what I'm going to deliver might be totally different from their expectation. Similarly, when you mention card, okay, it's clear that this story is about being able to do card payments, but what type of a card? I don't know. Customers might, okay, when they say card, it could be credit and debit card. That's giving false promises to customers when really you're not. But you might have in mind saying that, okay, let's go in for credit or debit card. Similarly, for managed address, what is this setting up of address? How am I going to do it? What are the different techniques that I'm going to do? I don't know. So, with this, you can never do proper planning. So, always make sure that you detail it down and make it as granular as possible. Okay, so now over here, I'm being very specific over here when I say filter. I'm not just saying filter, I'm saying filter by brand, filter by category. Also, when I say make payment, I'm not just saying card. I'm mentioning debit card, a credit card, or net banking payments. Similarly, for addresses, it could be just a manual entry of your address for the start. And also, I can say pin location to get the address. So, over here, I'm being very specific and I can give this information to clients and stakeholders and say, hey, this is the backlog. And in order for the MVP, let us know if you have some priority items that you want pushed out in the first release. So with this, clients will be able to see what all things exist, what are the stories that exist over here, and they would be able to decide on what needs to be pushed first and what needs to be kept in the parking lot. So through this, you would be able to juggle about along with your stakeholders and clients and your team in order to plan what needs to go first and what needs to be gone second. So if you see, clients might say, okay, I need filter by category first. So at that time, you push that in first and then you keep the filter by brand for the second release. Similarly, they might say, hey, I just want cash on delivery for the start. I don't have customers using, debit and credit cards, so that can be kept aside, but cash on delivery should at least work. It should at least solve the end-to-end problem. It shouldn't be some blocker. Similarly, pin location is something really nice to have. But if I'm not able to do it, at least give me a manual entry of address. Yes, you can do it, and yes, we can deliver this. So, in this way, you are setting up really clear expectations for clients and stakeholders so they know what they can expect. Okay, and you can easily be able to segregate them into different releases also. And all this can be done only when your story maps are very much in detail. So the more detail it is, the more clarity, the more expectations you're setting up for your stakeholders and clients. So I hope this information was useful to you. If you found this helpful, please do give this a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe to this channel and do share your feedbacks. Thank you.